Okay, so good morning, students.
Good morning.
Good morning to all. Okay, so in today's class, we will be discussing about the basically the second order transfer function time response. Okay, so in the last class, we have seen that how to model a particular second order system, because we have seen an example of a mechanical system. So we have seen that how to represent it in the form of a second order system using the Laplace transform, and then if the damping ratio is given, then how to find the relationship between the different parameters in order to satisfy the damping ratio. Okay, so now we will be discussing about the step response performance specifications. That means, suppose in we know that there are some test signals, that is a step input, then we have a impulse input, we have a ramp input and a parabolic input. Now these test signals are not only used for first order system, they are also used for the higher order systems also. That means for second order system also we use this this particular test signals. So suppose we have a second order system and we are giving step as input, then the output response will also be try to reach the value of the step input. That means suppose the input is unity step, that means this is the input line, this is a step input, unity step, okay, magnitude 1. So the output will try to become that value, okay, try to reach that value of 1. Okay, but generally what happens in first order system, we have seen that there is some transient period. Okay, so in transient period it takes some time and then it reaches the stability. In second order system, here also we have some transient period, but here the transient period has some overshoot. In first order we don't get to see this overshoot because there is no damping, there is no concept of damping, there is always critically damping. In first order system we always have a critically damped system, but in second order system we have a overshoot. So the output exceeds the input at some time. Okay, you can see this is the input, the output exceeds the input at a particular instant when we get to see the overshoot. Okay, then there is then according to the or depending upon the damping ratio, we get to see the damping, and after the transient period is over, when the stability is reached, then the output is reaching the input. Okay, it will also follow the input. Okay, now consider a unity gain second order system, underdamped system. Okay, underdamped system excited by a step input. Okay, so this is the output you will get for underdamped system. Now it is observed that the step response has a number of overshoots and undershoots before reaching the steady state value. Steady state means the value which it reaches after the transient period is over. That means when transient period is over, then this is the straight line of the input. Okay, so when the transient period is over, then it also reaches the straight line and touches this particular input line. Okay, but before that we can see that there is some overshoot. This is called overshoot. What is overshoot? If the output is exceeding the input, then we get an overshoot, and the output is not exceeding, that is it is having some less value. Okay, it is called the undershoot. Okay, so before steady state we get to see some overshoots and undershoots. Okay, since the overshoots and undershoots decay exponentially, because the decay occurs exponential decay. Okay, it is not a linear decay. You can see the decay is not, the overshoot is not like this, it is not a straight line, and decay is also not a straight line, it is a curve. So once it is a curve, it means that there is some exponential change in the values. Okay, the peak overshoot is the first overshoot and is also called the peak of the complete response. That means this value is called the peak value. You can see this is CT. Okay, so CT has some peak value somewhere over here. So first overshoot is always the maximum overshoot. We call it the peak overshoot. Okay, we call it the peak overshoot, maximum one, and it is always the first one, and it reaches the highest point. Then after that it will not exceed this value. Either it will be similar to this for an undamped situation, or it will be less than that. Okay, so for undamped means there is no damping, it will always be same, and underdamped means like this. Okay, underdamped. Critically damped is it will just touch the input line, just like a first order system. As if it is a first order system, then it is a critical damp situation. And overdamped means it will not even touch the input, it will be less than the input. Okay, that's we have already seen in the previous lecture. Now, performance indices specified from such a nature of the transient response of a system usually relates to how fast the system can follow the input. That means the performance tells us that how fast the system follows the input, which means suppose you have an underdamped system like this. Okay, so obviously in underdamped system you will always have some overshoot, then slowly it will be damped. Now our target is to be that our system should have should consume minimum time to reach the input, or the steady state condition rather. Okay, that means there will be overshoot, we cannot avoid that, but after that the damping should be instant. It should not be the case that this is our input. Okay, this is our input. Okay, suppose this is an input, and our output, I am showing you two different cases, case number 1, case number 2. Okay, so suppose we have a system of case number 1, okay, like this, that there is some overshoot, okay, and then damping takes place, then it reaches the steady state condition. Okay, it touches the input line, so that means, which means that this time, after this time, whatever second, suppose this is taking 10 milliseconds, suppose, that means after this 10 milliseconds is the transient time. After 10 milliseconds, after that there is a steady state is starting. Okay, but for case 2 we have a system where there is an overshoot, but overshoot should be less, because if the overshoot is more, then the damping will take lot of time. So overshoot is less, and then it reaches the steady state like this. So it is also a second order system, same system, there is no difference in them, both are under damped. Damping ratio may be varied. Okay, but in this case we can see that this transient period is very less, only this much. Suppose it is 7 milliseconds. That means after 7 milliseconds steady state starts. Okay, so which means that case number 2 or system number 2 has more stability. That means if you give some input, then it takes very less time to process it and give you the output. Okay, but in system 1 it takes a lot of time, because there is a lot of time taken for the transient period. Okay, so that means our system should be very fast. That means this is the performance of a system, that how fast the system can follow the input. Follow the input means it is reaching the steady state condition. If it is reaching the steady state condition very fast, that means it is a more stable case. Okay, now second is how oscillatory is its response, or what is the effect of damping. That means what is the effect of damping, that means whether it is totally damped, or damping, or the damping ratio is also responsible for the overshoot also. Because if the overshoot is high, suppose if I have a system like this where the overshoot is very high like this, then it will also take some time to settle down to reach the steady state condition. So this overshoot is high, that means this eta value, this is eta 1, and this less overshoot is eta 2. So eta 1 is less than eta 2. That means if the damping ratio is high, then the overshoot will be less. That means it will be damped very early. If the damping ratio is less, then the overshoot will be very high. Okay, and the damping will take a lot of time. So these combinations or the variations of value of eta, damping ratio, we have seen in the previous lecture, where we have discussed that if the damping ratio eta is 0, then we call it a undamped situation. That means there is no damping. It will be a sinusoidal continuous graph. Okay. If it is 1, it is critically damped, like a first order system. There won't be any overshoot. It will just rise up and touch the input and become stable. Okay. Then if the value is greater than 1, okay, and if it is less than 1, then it will be a underdamped situation like this. Less than 1 but not equals to 0. Suppose 0.1, 0.5, 0.7, it will be like this. If it is 0.1, it will be more overshooting. Okay. And if it is more than 1, it is underdamped. Oh, sorry, overdamped. Okay. So that means the nature depends upon how fast it follows the input, how oscillator is its response, how long does the response take to reach the steady state value. Okay. So the following indices are specified as indicative of the performance of the system in time domain. So we have this particular.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, sir, please tell once more, sir, the values of K, sir. More than 1, less than 1, and equal
eta,
to 1.
Not K, eta. Eta, this value.
Okay, sir.
This value, where I'm showing you. I have this with my with me in the previous PPT. If I show you the previous one. Okay, so this was actually explained that the value of eta. So if you see this graph, okay, if you see this graph over here, okay, so in this case, this is a wave where the value of eta is less than 1. Less than 1. 1 second. It is less than 1. Okay, if it is less than 1, then we call it underdamped case. That means there will be some overshoot and then it will stabilize after a certain time. Okay, now if it is 0, that means if it is 0, there is no damping. That means there won't be any damping. That means the system will be like this. It will be like this. It will continue. There is no damping at all. There is no steady state condition. Okay, it will continue like this. It is a case when there is a value of eta is 0. Okay, now when it is 1, that means it is critically damped. That means it is just like a first order system. It is just like a first order system where it rises like this. It rises and no overshoot, just touches the input. Just like a first order system. This one, just like a first order system, as if it is a first order system. Okay. And if it is more than 1, then it is called over damping. That means this one, more than 1, and this is equals to 1. That means over damping means it is so much damped that it will not at all have a overshoot, obviously, because even if equals to 1 is not having a overshoot, then more than 1 how can it have a overshoot? More than 1 actually, more than 1. So suppose is 2, 3. So more the value, what will happen? It will not have a overshoot and it will not touch the input also. That means there is so much of damping that it is not touching the input itself. Okay, it is not touching the input at all. Okay, so these are the 4 cases. So number 1 is the underdamped, where the damping is continuous. Then is it is undamped when eta equals to 0. That means it is continuous, no damping at all. Then we have less than 1. That means it is called the underdamped. There will be damping, but after certain time it will settle down, and we will have a overshoot also. Okay, that means overshoot as well as settling down is underdamped, and undamped means no damping, overshoot and continuous. Critically damped is no overshoot, it will just damp critically, just reach the input without an overshoot. And overdamped means it will not reach the input. It is so much damped that it will not reach the input. It will be less than input, but it will be stable but the value will not reach the input. So that means we are getting some loss, as if it is a loss. Okay. Now the value of eta, this one has to be concentrated because this is the generally cases we deal with. So value of eta is less than 1. Now see, how does it change? Now for, see, these two parameters are fixed, 0 and 1. That means you cannot change them. But this one you can change. Less than 1 means it can be 0.1, it can be 0.2, it can be 0.7, anything. And greater than also you can change. It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, 4. If I show you the last one, greater than 1, then the comparison will be like this. Suppose this is the input, dotted line, okay, and our target is to reach the input. If the value of eta is suppose 2, then it is over damped. So it will not reach the input. If the input is 1, it will not reach, or if it is suppose k, it will not reach, it will be over damped like this. Here eta value is 2. If eta value is 3, okay, sorry, if eta value is 3, then it will be more over damped like this. So more the value of eta, more over damped it is. So it is there is more loss. It is for eta equals to 3, suppose eta equals to 4, eta equals to 5, and eta equals to 1 means this one, critically damped, no overshoot, eta equals to 1. Got it? Now if eta is less than 1, then you will get a overshoot. If eta less than 1, then you will get a overshoot. And if it is more or less than 1, then more overshoot. So it is very simple as that. Got it?
Sir, it is directly proportional, right, sir?
Yes,
with the value of eta.
So the damping ratio means more the damping ratio, more will be the damping. Okay, so for eta 1, it is critically damped, just touching the line. It is touching the line, but no overshoot. If it is 2, then that means it is over damped. It can be 1.1, it can be anything but greater than 1. It is over damped and it will not touch the input. It will be underneath the input. See, it will be more underneath. 4 more underneath. So 1 means critically. If it is less than 1, then there will be some overshoot. And if it is more less than 1, that means if it is, suppose if I show this is less than 1, suppose this is eta suppose 7, and if you want to have eta 0.5, then it will be more, eta 0.5. If it is eta 0.1, more, eta 0.1. In this way, if the eta value is so small that it is almost 0, then there will be no damping at all. It will be like this, continuous, which means eta value is 0. Okay, so that means as the eta value increases, the damping increases. This is no damping, this is under damping, eta value 0.5, this is eta value 0.7, this is eta value 0.9, and if it is eta value 1, then it will be touch the input. And eta value more than 1, it will not touch the input, it will be underneath it, more damping. So eta is the damping ratio actually. Now got it?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Okay, now as we were discussing, yes. So now the thing is, now mostly we will avoid the over damped cases. That means eta more than 1. So obviously if there is no damping at all, if there is totally damping, this one which is underneath, if there is totally damping, that is it is not touching the input, so it is not a good system. So our value should be, eta value should be never more than 1. That is, it is the wastage of our system. That means it is not getting the input at all. That means you are giving input as 100 watt, you are getting output as 50 watt. That means huge loss. Okay, as if it is similar to that. Okay, so there is an analogy like that. So that means if more than 1, it is totally discarded. So our system should be, and no damping also should be not be there, because no damping means the system will continue like this. It will never reach a steady state. So your system is never reaching a steady state. That means you are giving an input and you are not getting an output. You are continuously observing that there is a transient situation going on. It is still processing. So it is not giving an input. It over damped this one. You are getting an output. You are getting an output. Suppose eta equals to 5. You are getting an output, but there is a huge loss, not touching the input. Okay, it is then discarded. You remove that. It cannot be granted. Number 2 case, no damping. That means totally sinusoidal. That means the system will not give it. You are not understanding whether it is giving loss or not, because it is still processing. It is still processing, still transient. So that means this is also not accepted. So number 1 case and 4th case cannot be accepted. Now our target should be number 3 case, critically damped. That means there should not be overshoot. If there is overshoot, it should be very less. That means it should be 1, but if it is not 1, then it should be 0.9 or 0.85, like that. But eta value should not be very less, because if it is very less, then that means it will be taking more time to settle down. That means the curve, the overshoot will be more, because if the eta value is less, that means the overshoot is more, and if the overshoot is more, it will take less time to settle. More time to settle. So our target should be equals to 1. That means it should be settled down very easily. But it generally doesn't happen. You will get some eta value, suppose 0.9, 0.85. So you will have some curve. Okay, you will have some curve like this. Okay, where you will have some overshoot. But our target should be that minimum overshoot. So eta value should be very close to 1. Now, suppose you have a system, as I have told you, that eta value is similar. Suppose this is also, if I show this one, suppose here eta value is 0.85. This one is also having eta value 0.85. Second one, okay, this one. But case number 1 is taking 10 milliseconds to settle down. But case number 2 is taking 7 milliseconds to settle down. It can happen. That means for the same damping ratio also, it may happen. Okay. But generally our target is to increase the damping ratio. Okay. So this settling time is very important for us. That means there are certain divisions of this entire, you can say, wave. First of all, the property to see that, or you can say, how will you observe? Observation is that, suppose you are driving a car and your target is to reach the speed of 100 kilometers. Okay, because you are on a freeway or a highway, and you are having a very good condition of road. Okay, national highway, and there is very less traffic, so you can reach 100 kilometers. So the car which is having higher acceleration, will reach 100 kilometers faster. Okay, more horsepower, more acceleration, it will reach faster. Suppose it is reaching in 5 seconds, and the second car is taking 10 seconds. Okay, so now if you want to wait for 5 seconds, you can understand, yes, it is reaching 100 kilometers. But for the first second, if you see, for after 2 seconds, if the car is reaching 40 kilometers, then you can understand, yes, for 2 seconds, if it is reaching 40 kilometers, then in 5 seconds it will reach 100 kilometers. And second case, for 2 seconds, if it is reaching 20 kilometers, then you can understand, if it takes 2 seconds at 20 kilometers in 2 seconds, then no way in 5 seconds it can reach 100 kilometers. So you can understand from the beginning itself, from the acceleration of itself, because the acceleration remains almost constant. Okay. So similarly here also, the time which will take to settle down is called the settling time. But almost in the beginning, by seeing the nature of the car, we can understand that how will it perform at the last. That means you can see this curve is having a slope like this. Okay, that means it is reaching 50% of the input at a certain time. So by seeing this time, we can understand that how much time will it take to settle down. It can be understood by you can see, by observing hundreds of cases, you can understand that if a system is taking X amount of time to reach the 50% mark, then how much time will it take to reach 100% mark, we can understand. So this can be done. Okay, So that is why the time taken by the system to reach 50% of the input is called the delay time. Because a system may be there that he is having a delay time like this, and another system is like there which is taking less time for reach the 50%. Suppose system like this. Okay. So over here you can see the blue line, the system or the curve with the blue line is taking less time to reach 50%. So the delay time for this blue curve is less compared to the black curve. That means this blue curve is taking less time to reach 50%, so it will also take less time to settle down. Okay. So the 50% mark time is called the delay time. So it is told that it is the time required for the response to reach 50% of the final value in the first attempt. It is called the delay time. It is also proportional to the value of eta. Okay, eta and the frequency of the natural frequency. Okay, omega n. These values you can understand we are taking from that equation. This equation. Second order equation. This one where we have discussed. Yes, this equation. Okay, omega n square by s square plus 2 eta omega n s plus omega n square. Then whatever variables we have with us, we will see that which one is omega n. Last value will be omega n, n square. Okay. So our last value is 2. S square plus something plus 2. So that means 2 is omega n square. So omega n will be root 2. Okay. So in this way we have to determine. Okay. So this is the delay time. So this is the equation for finding the delay time. Next is rise time. Rise time means, if I remove this blue line for once, okay, I cannot remove, it is saved actually. Right. Okay, now rise time means the time taken to reach 100% mark. Okay, time taken to reach 100% mark. So it is obviously not critically damped, so it is under damped, so it will overshoot. So but what is the time taken to reach the 100% mark? That is the rise time. So if there is a if there is a steep curve, so it will take less time to rise. So that means this rise time is also dependent on the value of damping ratio. You can see from the equation. So the time required for the response to rise 10% to 90% actually. Okay. Of a final state for the overdamped system and 0 to 100% for the underdamped system. So that means if you are considering an overdamped system, that means eta more than 1, then we will measure the time taken by the system to reach from 10% to 90%. But for underdamped case, that means this case, okay, for this case, the time taken to reach from 0 to 100 is called the rise time. Okay, it is called the rise time. So this is the equation for finding the rise time, and here also you can see that the value is proportional to the eta value. That means the rise time is also proportional to the eta value. Now we have the peak time. Peak time means the time taken to reach the peak value, because as I have told you that there will be some overshoot, and first overshoot is the maximum, because after that it is getting damped. So the maximum overshoot is called the peak overshoot, and the time taken to reach that peak overshoot, this time is called the peak time. And the time taken to settle down, that means the transient period is over. After that we have a steady state period. So this transient period in this case is called the settling time. Okay, then after that it settles down. Okay, so it is called the settling time. Okay, so we were discussing about the peak overshoot, peak time. So this is the equation for the peak time. And peak overshoot. Peak overshoot means the magnitude of the peak. How much? Okay. If it is input over here, so how much more than the input? Okay, so that is the peak overshoot. It is represented by MP. So this is the equation for finding the MP. That is the output C at peak time minus output at infinity by output at infinity. Infinity means at the steady state, because at infinity it will become equals to the input almost, and at peak time, okay, it is having the, or you can say this peak time, it is having the maximum value. So that means if Ct is the output, so the value of Ct at Tp means this value, this magnitude, minus the Ct value at the infinity, that means steady state, by C infinity. So this is a percentage. So peak overshoot value means this one, percentage. Okay. Okay. So this is a percentage. So since this value, Tp value, if I put this value over here for Ct, then this is the Tp value, Ctp, minus C infinity. C infinity is 1 because C infinity means it has reached the input. So for C infinity, it is 1. C infinity is 1. It has reached the maximum value. The output value. It is the input value. Sorry, touching the input value. Means the actual output we are expecting. And divide by 1 into 100. So this is the modification. If you modify this one, you will get this equation. So this is the peak overshoot, and peak overshoot is represented in percentage mostly. Okay. So these are the 4 equations. 5 equations rather. Number 1 is delay time. Number 2 is rise time. Delay time means 50%. Rise time means 100%. Peak time means time taken to reach the peak time. And settling time means time taken to settle down. Okay. Now, in most control systems, the steady state value of the output for step input is same as the input. That means the steady state value of the output is for step input is same as input. That means the output signal, output will be reaching the input, it is expected. So it is almost equals to the input. That means if there is a step input like this, then output will also touch the input. Okay. So this is the input RT. RT is equals to step input 1. Then C infinity should also be equals to 1. In most cases, it happens that if there is a step input, the output is also equals to that input. Okay, that is 1. And we call that a steady state value. We call this steady state value. Steady state value means the output value after reaching the steady state condition, which is called the steady state value. But in many cases, there is some error. That means there is some gap. It does not reach. So if I magnify this part in the next slide, over here, if I magnify this space, so this is the input, dotted line is the input. Okay, so we have a second order system like this, overshoot is there, then after that it reaches the output. So in this case you can see it is not totally reaching the input. Okay, this output is having some gap with respect to input, this gap. So there is some error. So our desired output will be equals to input. It should touch it. It should be like this, touching the input, but it is not touching. It is having some gap. That gap is called the steady state error. So it is defined as the error between the actual output and the desired output. Desired output means equals to input. That means it should touch the input. Okay. If the input is X, the output should also be X. But if it is less than X, then it is called the error, steady state error. As the time tends to infinity, that means when time is infinity, that means the system has reached stability. So if there is some gap between input and output, then we call it an error. So the steady state error is represented or calculated like this. That means limit t tends to infinity. Okay, t tends to infinity, then RT minus CT, input minus output. If RT minus CT at t tends to infinity is 0, that means RT is equals to CT at t tends to infinity. That means it is a desired system. That means the output line has touched the input line. So there is no error. But if there is error, so there will be some difference. So that difference is called the steady state error. Okay. Now this one I will just explain. So the numerical I will discuss in the next class. So for an underdamped system, that means the system which we were discussing, the magnitude of the oscillations present in the output time response decay exponentially with a time constant. That means the magnitude decays exponentially, means this magnitude, the damping. Okay, and which is proportional to the damping ratio, okay, and which is having a time constant, that is with some constant it is seeing that by this proportion it is decaying. So by which proportion? The time constant, which is 1 by eta omega n, that means damping ratio and the natural frequency. The time required for the oscillation to settle down within 2% of the steady state value, that is the settling time, is approximately 4 times the time constant. Thus the settling time is 4 by this one. Please observe that the time required for the oscillations generally settle down for 2% the steady state value. That means if the steady state value means it is not equals to output, but if it is just 2%, then the settling time is approximately 4 times the time constant. On 5% basis, the settling time will be approximately 3 times. So this thing it is actually depend upon our system, so we will observe this later in the numericals, then you will understand. Okay, but the main equations for all these systems or all these particular means time, that means the rise time, peak time, delay time, and settling time. Okay, settling time actually. So this is the equation for the settling time. Okay, because settling time we have discussed actually. Settling time we discussed, but the actual output is equation we have not shown, because it is a time required for response to reach the and stay within a specified tolerance, usually 2% or 5%, because in actual practical case we cannot get RT equals to CT. That means there will be some error. Okay, there will be some error, because as I am discussing that it is not possible to have a system, okay, practically, that it will follow this and it will touch the input line without an error. No, it does not happen, because there is some error always. So how much shall we wait? That means we are having a system like this and it is going like this and it is going like this, and how much will you wait? That if it is not touching the input, then you can see that you will wait that, okay, let us wait for more 5 millisecond or 10 millisecond, 20 millisecond, let us see, or 1 second, let us see whether it is touching the input or not. So there is wastage of time, because if it is not touching after a certain time, it will never touch. So how much time shall we wait for the settling time? So how much actually takes to settle down? That is actually dependent upon the damping ratio also. Okay, so that means the time taken to reach 2% of the steady state value. That means there is some error of 2% if you consider. That is 4. Settling time is calculated like this: 4 by eta omega n. And for 5% basis, if the tolerance is 5%, if you consider a case that, okay, my system may have a tolerance of 5%, then your settling time will be 3 by eta omega n. Okay, so depending upon the tolerance which the manufacturer is prescribing, 2% or 5%, in between that, because in resistance color code you have seen there is a tolerance of 10% or 20%, because the manufacturer mentions those tolerances. Similar to that, here is also manufacturer mentions that a system may have a tolerance, or a designer who is designing a system mentions that the system has a tolerance of 2%, then you can take the settling time like this. And if it is 5%, then you can take a system settling time, consider the settling time like this. Then you can change the value of omega and eta to vary the system performance accordingly. Okay, so I am ending my lecture today for up to here. In the next class we will discuss about the numericals based on this particular discussion. So if you have any question before leaving, then you can ask. So have you understood these divisions of the time gaps: delay time, rise time, peak time, and settling time, and the overshoot? Is it clear for all?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, then thank you then. So you may leave, because the time for the next class has already started. Okay. Okay, so I've recorded the attendance from here, because it is on video recording. Okay. Okay, so thank you.